Yes.
Was it surprising? Like.
No. It happens often, and the thing about it is, there's nothing wrong. That's a good thing, because the thing is like recognizing that is happening. You know that if it's captured by the videographer, then it's gonna be great for the movie.
It's natural.
Yeah, that's and I know I've been in realms where I wish the girl was there with me. Like. Literally, there's one girl where she had no idea that I was totally out of control.
Under control how?
Like imagine a stagecoach with 6 horses, right? 2, 2, and 2, and the motherfucker loses the reins on 6 horses on a stagecoach. Right? The motherfucker station has no shocking door whatsoever, right? So it's like, if you imagine that was me.
Okay.
A renegade stagecoach, right? She had no idea that she was. And it was Kiara Mia. The first time I worked with Kiara, I lost it because she was like the quintessential Latina for my liking. Thick, Mexican. Ooh, heavy black hair. Kiara Mia.
M-I-A, Mia?
Yep, Kiara. And because I literally was attacking her, and there's a couple times where I had to grab a hold of myself.
Yeah, the center yourself.
Oh yeah, because I literally probably would have hurt her if I didn't regain my wits. Because she was that. The first time I saw her, I literally was like, I could have broke my dick could have broke a glass table. I was like,
It's fucking solid.
Okay, in and out Naomi Banks.
She's bad. She's a bad one. She seems to be the most natural black female porn star.
I would say that she's the greatest ethnic female.
She has fun too. She's just having like a really, really good time.
The thing about Naomi's a 10 in every aspect that one can consider. And I don't mean just her looks. The woman is super intelligent. She's like Wonder Woman.
Have you ever had any relationships in the business? Is it easier to date someone who's in the industry versus out of it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've had like one long-term relationship in the business. Luckily, it didn't come to fruition. Whereas we were engaged, but we did not go all the way to become married. And luckily enough, and then subsequent to that, I dated only outside industry, not on purpose, but it just happened that way. So I've never had a problem dating outside industry, given what I do. Most of the women I've always understood that they have me, and Lexington Steele is who I become when I go to work and at work. But yeah, I've had long-term relationships in and out. Right now, I mean, shit.
How long have you guys been together?
A year.
Do you guys explore any? Like, do you have, I guess, as a couple and yourself, do you have any fetishes? Like, do you have any kinks that you are curious about that you've actually never explored or that you do regularly?
Pretty much, I pretty much have done everything that I want to actively participate in doing. I have certain things that I enjoy watching that I would never participate in. My wife and I, we explored, yes, actually, yeah. Yes.
You care to elaborate on what those kinks are, or is that?
Well, I would say that, you know, it's cool to be with someone where you can be every bit as freakish as you are without judgment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so that could mean for a lot of different things. But the thing that I really enjoy is you know, multiple partners. You know, and it's something that in the business was like the orgies were like the cream on top. Like to get invited to participate in the orgies was like one of the highest, you know, things you get invited to participate in. So to do those things away from camera means so much more because no one's being paid. So you know, we definitely enjoy scenarios that may or may not include, you know,
Extra people.
Whether people are fully engaging or people are just in the same room at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
which is just as much fun because we explored being voyeurs, we're exhibitionists at heart, you know.
Do you think that it's easier to have a threesome with people that you know less, like know little of, or what's the best route for, say, a couple that's never had a threesome together and they want to explore that option? How do they go about doing that? Or what do you think is the best way to
Let's
go
be
about
a complete stranger.
Agreed.
Complete stranger.
Things get messy when it's somebody that, like, you know.
Well, yeah, because like what happens is you're like, how long you wanted to fuck my wife?
Right.
And then you think that's your man, but you know that your man's been like quietly, like, you know. But it might not be him, it might be your wife or your girl. You know what I'm saying? She'd make that noise when
That's new.
it's usually I'm on the other end of it where she makes noises that he hasn't heard before.
Mm-hmm. So what about those, what they call it, cockles? You know, the husband in the corner beating his dick, watching his wife getting fucked by his big black dick. Does that excite you, like that you're being watched or anything? It's just, you're just fucking his wife?
No. I mean, you know, no. Because most of the situations I'm in, it's fully participatory, you know, and you know, and the thing about it is like, you know, when I'm performing, I go into the Superman mode. That's for the purposes of film. What people don't realize is when I'm away from camera, I'm not leaning at a 45-degree angle away from the girl, right?
You're engaged.
Yeah, I'm not like opening my hips so you can see my dick going in and every inch in and out of it. No, I would be kissing her, I would be holding her just like you do as a regular person would, right? So a lot of people get disappointed when they think that they're gonna see something when we're like, you know, at a swinger party or a lifestyle party, you know. Lifestyle is majority, you know, the working term for swingers. So we're at a swinger party and people think they're gonna see this big show. It's like, no. You know, I'm gonna be fucking the same way you're fucking. I'm gonna be sucking on the titties. Yeah. Right? If I'm sucking on the titties, you may not be able to see the penetration. You know what? I can't give a fuck because I'm not in the Superman mode. I'm not being paid.
Yeah, you're not there for that. You're there to enjoy yourself.
Yeah. So you know, motherfuckers like literally trying to get positions to like watch an angle. I'm like, look, doesn't matter what angle. I'm not going to. Yeah.
Be extra out.
Nah.
Do you film your own, I guess, sexcapades?
No.
There's no clips or anything like that on your personal cell phone?
Nah. Well, yeah, that'll be untrue. I mean, yeah, there's a clip or two, but not so much the clips. More so the selfies. I take astounding selfies.
With like ass and titties, or just you and?
No, I'm actually gonna put together
a collage.
Yeah, probably like a book of triple X selfies.
Give me like a big like coffee table book of like Lexington Steele's
selfies,
triple X selfies. That would be a good idea.
No, I mean I'm saying believe it or not, there's a market for it. There's a market for everything, but there's a market for it. Yeah. So I mean, like No, but there's no, because the thing about it is like, when you're having sex and it's filmed, it's kind of like, there's an aversion to a camera in your personal life when it comes time for intimacies. To give a for example, one of my failures last year had been actually two of the five had been with my girl, Savannah Styles, is her name, and the reason being was because when you're working with your counterpart, who happens to be, your loved one, the presence of the camera and the videographer and the sound guy, if there's a sound guy lighting that, becomes an intrusion on what is an intimate moment between, Lexington Steele and Savannah Styles, but what people forget, at a certain point, it's Cliff and Priscilla. And at a certain point, Cliff and Priscilla might begin to crack into the psyche of Lex and Savannah. It's not about the girl, because all the girl has to do is, girls can act. But what happens to a guy if he begins to have mental or emotional,
Can you, kind of off topic, but like, can you just think of something and make your dick hard? Do you have to see something or like?
When I was younger, I think my response was a lot easier, right? Where like, I could think of something and I would need no manual stimulation whatsoever. I think as I moved into my 30s and between 30 and 35 is when I noticed that I no longer had like an auto erection, if you will, with the mere thought. Now it required, some type of manual stimulation. And then as I got into my 40s, as I got into my 40s, I realized that manual stimulation remains necessary, but the magnitude of fantasy has become very heavy. Like the depths of my imagination has broadened as I've increased in age.
What would you say is your type? Is there
my type?
Your type of woman?
Well, I would say this. I like all types of women, so I can just say the type that I don't like.
Okay.
Pixies.
You don't like them crying little girls?
No, pixies are like my kryptonite.
You've done a lot of scenes with those, because I have some bookmarks and I like them very much. There's something entertaining and exciting about seeing some frail little white girl getting destroyed by.
It doesn't matter whether she's white, she's black.
But they always do a white girl in pigtails.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some skinny ass sisters too.
Yeah,
that's some pixie-like sisters.
Yeah. Yeah, but that doesn't get you going really.
Not at all.
No.
I tell people, like, what I'm saying, they should have known. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in this business long enough, but, like I said earlier, I don't have control over who I work with when I'm working for other directors. You know what I'm saying? And if they're shooting a girl that might be smaller than I like, maybe more petite than I like, it's up to me to either take the job or not. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm working in the capacity of talent for someone else, best believe that, sometimes you don't get what you want, luckily, the majority of my productions, the majority of times people see me as something that I either produced and or directed personally. Right?
Was that always something that you wanted to do, produce and direct your own films, or just?
At first I didn't think so, but very early on, I realized that the guys that were studio executives and studio heads were not necessarily any better of a businessman than myself. At 28, I had 6 years, as a broker, and so I dealt with executives that had money, men and women that had disposable income, to invest. So I knew what it was like to be associated with an executive, and you are an executive when you handle executive business. And so when I got into the industry, I just was like, okay, how long will it take me to learn the business side of it, and then have the financing, and then the brand to launch my own thing. And I started in '98, and I launched Mercenary Pictures in 2003. So it fit within my 5-year plan, and certain things have fit within the 10-year plan, and so forth. And now we're in our 18th year now. So.
Do you think going that route helps the porn star, male, female, black, white, pink, purple, to last longer in the industry?
What
to direct and
yeah, because the thing about it like this, in mainstream media, they talk about line items in the budget. How many line items do you have? How many different times are they cutting you a check? See what I'm saying? You know that as a mainstream person, right? In the industry, in adult, is how is the viability isn't measured in line items per se, but is measured in how many different ways you can generate money from your media. So if you're a performer, do you want to stay a performer or do you want to direct? If you direct, now you pay yourself as a director and you pay yourself as a performer, right? If you're making to the point where you're producing, which means you're now financing, then now you're getting paid as a performer, you're getting paid as a director, and you own it. Now your payments are continuing because you produce it. So how quickly can you get to the point where your residual income is forever?
How do you think the new laws of the industry are affecting, I guess, any porn star's ability to grow? Like, you have to wear condoms, right, if you're filming in LA County.
Yeah.
Now, are there loopholes?
Well, let's just say that very, very little compliance is afforded that mandate. And it is a mandate, it's not law yet.
Okay.
Maybe it is law, but it will not be upheld as law. Because here's the thing, Matt. They want us to register and get kind of like a pass, not a pass, but a waiver or a license to shoot, right? So say me, myself, and I release 2 titles a month, one for my company, one for another that I shoot for. That's 8 scenes. So I'm supposed to go to them, or the powers that be, they, he, them, she, whom they are, right, and get this license to shoot today, 8 times a month. Then I'm going to tell them what date and where I'm going to be shooting. That's the only way they know how to find you and how to find out whether you have condoms on or not.
Do you think it's kind of silly? Like, do you think that it's
possible
that they can monitor that?
Only feature productions get those licenses when they have to shoot for. A production might be 2 weeks that they're going to be shooting, so they have to be above board. But in my type of movies called gonzo, which are all sex movies, or vignettes with very little to no dialogue. If you're going to be on location for 6 hours, you don't have to get a waiver or a permit to shoot for 6 hours. So if I'm not getting a permit, then you don't know when or where I'm shooting.
That's true.
So how do you know where to go to find out if I had condoms on?
Right. It's not like there's some porn police.
No, and then that's like, if you and secondly, are you going to allocate the monies necessary to police these laws, right? You tell me you're going to redirect someone from LAPD to come to Lex Steele set if you find it, right? Because we shoot in residences.
Yeah.
We're not at a studio. Like, if we're in a feature production, then you might be on a studio where they need, right? But for my purposes, I need a residential location. I don't need a permit for that.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it sounds kind of ridiculous when you explain it like that
Yeah, it's
They
pretty
can't
tough.
really enforce.
Now, well, thirdly, if they do catch you, they will fine you.
Oh,
They will fine. They will make you pay some money, but because the rules are ludicrous, and it's like, you know, is it who's it benefiting for us to make movies with dental dams, which are those little pieces of rubber for cunnilingus, or fellatio with the dental dam and a condom, goggles because you're not supposed to exchange any bodily fluids.
What?
Well, our eyes are open for, some cum can get in the girl's eye. The same people that would have us put on goggles and rubber gloves, right, are the same people that allow for professional, American in particular, not European, but American hockey, not Canadian, but American hockey as a brand, professional hockey, to fight like they do. Now, both are work environments, but in my environment where we're having sex, you want to destroy my environment. I'm not hurting anyone, but you're going to let, in another workplace, you're going to let people with knives on their, attached to their boots, which are skates, with 6 foot long hockey sticks, which are can be used as a lance or a weapon.
Yeah.
Right? And you allow for that, right? And you're gonna tell me that if I eat her pussy, that I'm more of a danger to society than the motherfucker that's gonna slice somebody's head open with his skate. Right. And it's allowed in NHL. American hockey is the only, they don't fight like that in Canadian hockey. People don't know that. They don't fight like that in European hockey. I asked anybody, why is it that they see no fighting in the Olympics in hockey? That's because American hockey is the only place where people fight like that. So I'm going to say that it's ludicrous that they expect us to adhere to these things when the same powers that be allow for something like hockey to go on.
What do you think caused the shutdowns with the STD issues?
Well, the necessary shutdowns with STD issues is protocol and operation as it should operate. The testing systems that are utilized and work adequately for years. And what's funny is, like, here's a perspective that I wish people would understand. Well, there's a shutdown because someone tests positive, right? Ooh, somebody tested positive, they had to shut her down. Well, duh. What is the testing system made for? Is to prohibit the spread of and what people forget, or people don't bear in mind, because two things. Number one, half the time when there's a media shutdown, there's a shutdown, and there's a question as to why the business shuts down, it's not coming from the straight heterosexual porno. I repeat, it's not coming from the heterosexual porno.
Wait. So you're saying that it's coming from...
I'm saying that it's coming from other pornography that's being shot. I'm not casting aspersions towards other types of video, but I'm saying 90% of the time, almost 100% of the time, it's not heterosexual.
Do you think it's because someone in the heterosexual porno world is dipping into other areas?
No.
Or
It's just that the media doesn't discern. Purposely doesn't discern between hetero and other parts of gay. I'm sorry.
Other parts of gay, yes. So, do you, or have you ever considered, or have you ever been offered a substantial amount of money to do a gay scene?
No.
Isn't it true that guys, or I guess male gay porn pays more than heterosexual porn?
Oh yeah, but the guys that do gay are gay. The guys that aren't do hetero. There's no crossover. I don't know anybody on the gay side. No.
Do you think
I know I'm familiar with the fact that they're paid well, but I wouldn't have any reference.
How do you feel about, I'm straight, but I just do gay porn for the money?
Well, here's the thing. With my studio, Mercenary Pictures, I have a division called Black Viking. Mm-hmm. Black Viking is an avant-garde division. Mm-hmm. It's my division of movies that I don't produce, but I participate in. Solo male masturbation, which I did one scene in the very first release, but I do have gay, I do have female. Right? I had a Brazilian director that produced and directed out of Brazil for me, female. And I had a female and a gay dude that directed my gay stuff for Black Viking. So I'm familiar from the standpoint of producing it. But that doesn't mean I have any frame of reference personally with that side of it.
So with that being said, how do you feel about ass play for your own ass? Or
well, I've never really enjoyed it. I don't really like. I've had an unpleasant experience, right? When I was in college, and so I never wanted any woman to play around that area, and I don't enjoy a woman's mouth anywhere near that area as well, because I fully intend to kiss her throughout our sexual experience, and I would rather not, kiss her, because while I'm confident in my hygiene at the very moment of sex, I don't necessarily know whether or not I need it to perhaps run a washcloth here or there. You know what I'm saying?
It's a chance you don't want to take.
Right, and I don't want to kiss her. I don't want to. I don't need that.
All that.
So I'm saying, and then would I do that to a girl? No, because I believe that my going down on her pussy is intimate enough, and I don't need to put anything in the other hole other than my dick. And I don't really enjoy anal sex on a person.
No? That was my next question. Was what your favorite hole was?
No, I don't hate anal sex. I just have no desire to participate in it away from camera. Because not for nothing, but there is nothing inside a woman's asshole that is made for penetration. No, it's not. It's a canal.
But there's the vagina is a canal. It's a birth canal.
But the vagina is specifically manufactured to receive the penis, to pleasure the penis, to manufacture pleasure of its own for its own self from the penis, right? Self-lubricating, stretches, changes shape.
That's everything your asshole does.
No,
stretches.
it's not.
It's warm, it's tighter. It lubricates. If you've enjoyed it, it lubricates. You know that. I know you know that.
Let me tell you something. When God made that, He said, "This is exit only." Now I understand that access to the male prostate gland is through the male's anal cavity. I'm not in tune with that. Many have told me of those pleasures. I'll take their word, right?
Do you think that men that explore or dabble in any type of anal activity, whether it's, getting a rim job, fingered, whatever, do you think that labels them as being homosexual?
No.
Or having any tendency?
No. Because, look, the physicality of the human body is not heterosexual again. It's the way we were built, we were put together. If the male G-spot, if you will, the male Grafenberg spot, if you will, the G-spot, proverbial G-spot, is the prostate gland, which is can be located through entry in the male's anus, through the anal cavity. If that's where the button is, the magic button is, that's where the magic button is. That has nothing to do with sex, with whether you're heterosexual or homosexual. That's just where God put it. I'm not familiar with anal play like that, but I get it.
What about pegging by a woman?
Well, that's not
Not
my
for you.
style,
Mhm.
right? But I do believe that.
It's a tendency.
Well, let's just say that we're moving into some gray areas.
Recently heard that wearing a cock ring helps you last longer. Do you agree?
Yeah. But guys out there, if you are enjoying these, because I enjoy using cock rings in my personal life, but primarily if I'm having sex on drugs, which could cause you to have some sort of erectile dysfunction, you can use a cock ring, and I say that because look, fucking 46, I enjoy recreational activities, which include certain things which go a lot better if you eradicate problems with the use of cock ring. Mm-hmm. So, but never, ever leave a cock ring on to the point of fruition. You do not want to experience orgasm with a cock ring on because it's not healthy. It's damaging to your
okay.
Permanently damaged. Could potentially permanent damage.
Would you say that there are any, besides, you smoke weed regularly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, not regularly. The reason why I can't smoke regularly because I can't afford to be high.
Because while you're filming? Or
No. Like say if I'm in the office doing business, I can't receive a phone call. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's like I wake up at 7. I'm in my office by 7 o'clock in my home office. So my day starts at 7 o'clock, right? Till about 5:30, 6 o'clock. During the day, I can't smoke because if I get a phone call from a buyer or one of my, somebody needs something from me or whatever, and I'm, incapable of having a discussion, or I'm at a disadvantage because I'm high and the person I'm communicating with is not. So I would, in the evenings I enjoy smoking the evenings. Yeah.
Agree that Molly or any other drug really intensifies the already great sex you're having?
Well, I have Molly and ecstasy. I don't really like Molly because I feel it's ecstasy light. But ecstasy is such a garbage drug. Right. So when I speak of recreational drug use during sex, it's out of memory. Because once with ecstasy became worse and worse. Now, but you don't want to really messing around with it. So I recommend just weed. But yeah, it's different. No, weed does not increase the sexual experience like some of the other stuff does. And a lot of these drugs that people use are, at their roots, are sex drugs to really enhance the sexual experience.
They can get in the way a little bit, like you were saying with Molly. For girls, it gets us going. But for you guys, either you can't get hard, you can't keep it hard.
Molly or ecstasy?
Yeah, or you can't do that. You're fucking for hours.
Let me tell you something.
Or maybe you're different. I don't know. But most have an issue.
It depends what they're made with. Many people may recall, or may not recall, a certain thing called the Superman. And Supermans were a brand of ecstasy, but it was what it was mixed with, and so depending on what it's mixed with can dictate the type of experience you can have sexually. I just think that there's a time and place for everything, and the danger of coupling some of the harder drugs, which increase your sexual experience. The problem with coupling that with regular sex is you become accustomed to having good sex only when you have drugs. And as a male performer, it's not something that I can really get involved in, because I can at no point afford to get involved with things that can affect my performance as a sex performer. There's certain drugs that directly impact the man's ability to perform sexually. So I said, I don't get involved with those things in particular.
Top 5 women you've worked with that really, really stand out.
Well, the woman I chose to keep, Savannah Styles, I'll start with her. But my all-time favorites are Naomi Banks, Kiara Mia, Shyla Styles, Gianna Michaels, and yeah, that's about
Really
it.
good ones.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good.
And then there's one other civilian person that whose pussy ranks above all others.
And she's a civilian?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That means some golden pussy.
Yeah, I mean, Pete's physical attribute is what God gave him. That is a physical attribute that's unique to him. Now,
It's a gift.
it's a gift, but you can increase your load by what you eat, amount of protein in your diet. There's supplements like zinc, iron, vitamin E, vitamin B that directly impact the manufacture of semen. There's certain foods, like if you eat boiled, hard-boiled eggs, or any eggs for that matter, scrambled, what have you, oatmeal, pastas.
Protein heavy.
Yeah. You'll manufacture more semen, and the quality and constitution of the semen will be greater. Perfect example, by way of Converse. I had no protein in my diet for like last week. I guess I had very low protein in my diet, and 2 of my pop shots were completely colorless. Completely colorless. So that was directly, from having a lack of protein in your diet. So
it was like kind of clear.
it was just completely clear. Yeah. So your body will tell you, your process can reflect the quality of your diet and the measure of your diet as well. So your diet is directly attributable to your pop shot.
Have you ever caught an STD?
No, but I have self-medicated when I thought that I might have something that was wrong with me.
Okay.
When you've been in this business long enough, you know that you're not supposed to be aware of certain parts of your body unless you are, either having sex or taking piss. Any other time, you're not necessarily supposed to be aware of your penis. So yeah, there's been times when knowing what is necessary, I might have taken it into my own hands, but I never tested positive for STD now. And like I said earlier, I've tested every month since December of 1996.
Have you ever, whether in porn or in your personal life, said fuck it and just threw your dick on a crap table and just took a risk? Just raw dogging anybody?
I mean, let me tell you something. I'm the swashbucklingest of swashbucklers.
So you're a swashbuckler.
Yeah. What do you call my fucked up division, the Black Viking? I am the embodiment of the Black Viking because I'm a venture capitalist when it comes to pussy.
That pussy is power. Do you think that women have more control over or they have more control over different aspects of the business and their lives because they have a pussy? Do you think that if they knew how to use it to their advantage, that it could be put towards power?
I think that, there are very, very few essential things to humanity, and the female sexuality is one of the things that are essential to humanity, and therefore it's one of the few things that is respected by everything, everyone, male or female. And so, yeah, I do think that women are the stronger species, stronger gender. Yeah, I believe that. Do I believe that a woman should? Do I believe that a woman should put herself and the value of her pussy in such high regard? I get it, but but I don't necessarily feel I have to worship at the altar of the almighty pussy, right? Whereas a lot of men find themselves victim to its acquisition. You know, I have the luxury of not having to chase it. So I've got a chance to step back and look at it and appreciate it and understand that, yeah, like, you know, my whole life has been controlled by, not by myself, but has been controlled by the acquisition and exploitation of pussy. When I say exploitation, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just a thing that has provided my lifestyle. So I have the utmost respect for women, and the fact that women can do things that men's body can't do. Like, you know, you guys produce children, you guys produce milk from your breasts to nourish and feed, you know. So I have the utmost, and that's why I don't denigrate women in my movies, because I like, you know, I don't see how it's sexy to smack a woman or spit in her face. I don't get that. But I will celebrate her femininity, you know. So that's why my movies, like, you know, I'm more about celebrating the fat ass than smacking it. Why do I want to smack your ass and leave an imprint of my hand on your ass?
You don't want to do that?
No. What I want to do is place my hand on your ass and squeeze it
and enjoy it.
and demonstrate to the camera how soft and pliable it is. Look at the way the flesh, you know, mushes between my fingers. Right? This is, or her breasts, right? You know, why do I want to squeeze her breast to the point where she's like, ow? No, I want to caress her.
Well, she likes it. Have you ever fucked a girl who's like into some hardcore slap the shit out of me? You know.
I tell a bitch, look, I said, look, there's two things that happen. Either I can be violent with you, or you can have an erection. You choose. You're not gonna give. I can't give you both.
Yeah, one or the other.
One or the other. I can give you the violence first. And then fuck you, or fuck you, and then give you the violence.
Yeah.
But I'm not good. I'm not. For me, no, it's a turn off for me if you expect me to put my hands on you like that in any capacity. I've been many times where I want to put hands on a bitch, but so, I was raised a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? So my father would have a problem with that.
Category, like when you watch porn, what's your go-to?
I like to watch stuff that I don't produce, like. I'll enjoy like you know, all natural big tit movies, you know, clips, not clips, but you know, where I go to access my when I'm perusing, if you will. I'm a breast man, so I'm into breast. Yeah.
Does it matter the color of the breast? Pink nipple, brown nipple?
Just big.
Just big tits.
Yeah, and I don't, you know, I'm not really into. I'm not one that's gonna say, "Oh, I don't like implants," or that it has to be all natural. I mean, you know, I like big breasts. If they look like they're not, if they look like they're implants, then I mean, I may not enjoy it as much. But I'm a breast man at heart.
At the end of the day,
yeah, and I like big clits too.
Big clits really kind of throw me off because they're like, some are so big, they're like mini penises. I mean, I know like when we were being developed, you know, that was, I mean, it wasn't the deciding factor, but you know, we're similar in a lot of ways. But that when I see a massive clit like that, it always
well, usually not. I would say that my inclination or proclivity for clits is not. Say that 3 times fast, right?
That was nice.
It's not based on what the reasoning that guys today are into it. I go back to Vanessa Del Rio and the impact she had on me when I was watching her when I was younger. So.
Do you have any final tips for anyone that's sexual, men and women? I guess men. Performance-wise, any general tips of there's always lasting longer? I think confidence in their performance and just in themselves, and then I guess whatever final tips or advice you would offer to any woman.
Well, for men, I would just say that develop your brain as the strongest of the two sexual organs.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you that your brain is better at sex than your penis is. I guarantee it.
You guys are visual creatures.
Oh man, I mean, you know, let me tell you something. I told my best friend the other day what I had going on in my head in the scene I did the other day with this girl I really was attracted to, and he's the only person I would have told. So when I say like motherfuckers got some crazy shit going on in their head to do this, it's not what's going on in there. It's not a pill that you're taking. It's not what's going on between your legs. It's what's going on in your brain. See what I'm saying? For women, I would say, gossip. You guys rule the world. Know it, and feel free to act like it.
Would you say that I'm a firm believer in this? I wasn't always, but I'm a firm believer in that loving yourself, first liking yourself, and then loving yourself in every way affects your future. It affects how you interact with others and what you receive. I feel like there's a lot of people, young and old, that don't understand that, you know, they seek this love from everywhere. You know, I want to be loved. I want to get attention. I don't want to just be fucked. Do you like yourself? How can you receive that love and affection from someone else, whether it's on a friendship level or romantically, and if you're not feeling yourself? So what do you think there's anything that someone could do to get into that zone?
I think that I think people really need to understand that they don't need to live up to the images that they see in media, and that each individual person can find, you know, if there's certain attributes that you find attractive, they need to know that within you there are elements of that, and you just need to be aware that they exist and cultivate those elements. As we're seeking to be whole, I think that's the main thing. And whether you find that spiritually or find that through sex or whatever, I think it's the sooner as you become whole, the sooner your comfort level within yourself, you know, rises. And once you're comfortable within yourself, then you're allowed. Then you can really help others. I think, I guess.
You're unstoppable at that point.
Yeah. So I'm not quite there yet. I'm still working on myself, but I want to start working on my family soon. So.
How soon do you think you'll get started on the family?
I don't know. I have to ask Savannah.
It's going with the flow.
I mean, we practice a lot.
So if it happens, it happens.
Yeah, you know, quite actually, whereas I was the last person in my high school to get pussy, I'm also the last person of my generation that seems to get anyone pregnant. I've never gotten anyone pregnant in my life.
No accidents.
No accidents. No, I don't
you
have
had
any.
to have a girl at least say, "I'm pregnant," and she was full of shit or something.
No. Yeah. And then I had a reminder that no, don't.
You tried it.
Yeah, I tell her like, no, don't
do that.
Don't try that.
Favorite genre of movies: action, sci-fi.
Oh, action.
Action all day.
Sci-fi, action. Sci-fi. I like sci-fi, but some of it's so hard. I think I like sci-fi. It's like the Martian sci-fi, not like stuff like Star Wars. As a child, I liked it, but the new one didn't move me. I preferred the Martian as opposed to Star Wars. Both dealing with space, but no, I'm more like Revenant, reality based, But I like superhero movies.
Who's your favorite superhero? Or let me ask you this: Marvel or DC?
Marvel. Although Batman and Superman, DC, you know what I'm saying? But nah, man, the Avengers and the X-Men. Shit. DC doesn't have blacks.
No.
Marvel Stan Lee had blacks, wrote blacks into his
Long. Yeah.
Wait to see Black Panther in recent Black Panther.
Yeah, it looks. It looks good. I'm scared to get too excited because I don't want to be disappointed. So I'm just, and that's kind of how I feel about Suicide Squad. Like, I love Harley Quinn, huge fan, and I'm looking forward to the movie just to see her finally, on screen. But then you got Heath Ledger's gone, so I feel like it's like whoever has.
Wait, so what was?
What was what?
Heath Ledger was. He was in
Joker. Yeah, but he's dead.
Yeah, but the Joker is part of that.
Yeah, he's in Suicide Squad. He's being played by what's his name? Is it Jared Leto? No. I can't think of the guy's name.
Well,
but it's not Heath Ledger. So to fill those shoes, I just feel like it's a task.
Don't do it. I mean, think of that. Christian Bale rewrote Batman to Dark Knight. He owned the Dark Knight so much so that the next Batman movie was called Batman again. Christian Bale was Dark Knight. Now that he buried Dark Knight and they had to go back to Batman because no one, he was the best. Ben Affleck might do big. Let's see what Ben Affleck does. He was garbage in Daredevil, but Daredevil, it wasn't bad.
He's been garbage for a while. He's been garbage for a minute. And to give him the role of Batman?
You know what? I think I'm confident that he did it justice. Because can you imagine any red-blooded American male that gets a chance to do Batman? You put your best foot. I mean, we grew up as a kid. Like, fucking A, man. Like, the dude that played Superman, like, they casted the right dude. And in this movie, he's mean in this movie.
I'm going in neutral for the film. Yeah. Definitely going in neutral. Because of Heath Ledger being gone and because Ben Affleck is playing Batman.
Okay, well then what about, don't you feel good about the introduction of Wonder Woman? Although I think she was miscast. But Wonder Woman is a woman from Fast and Furious, the Brazilian cop. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I didn't know it was her. I thought it was like some model, but they said
which Fast and Furious?
6 and 7.
Well,
the one that whatchamacallit liked, that Vin Diesel liked.
I think at first I thought you were talking about what's her name, Michelle Rodriguez, but she wasn't a cop in the movie. She was a girlfriend. I never saw Fast and Furious past like the second one.
Oh my god! Let me tell you something.
Once I got to Tokyo,
no. Do yourself a favor. I shit you. Do yourself a favor and watch number 7.
Just skip between 2 and 7.
Let me tell you something.
Just go to 7.
Number 7 is in terms of action movies, it's great.
Okay.
With capital letters, like it's great.
Okay.
I'm
gonna be highly upset if
Let me tell you something. I'll pull like this. Jason Statham fights The Rock. Enough said.
Okay.
The Transporter fights The Rock at the beginning of the movie. And they fucking
that's at the beginning, so I didn't see it. Get it out the way. It's over.
I mean, they're throwing bolos, like, I mean, they're not hitting with their forearms, like, BAM! Oh, man.
Where are they fighting? Are they on the street?
In an office building.
Okay.
It's the coolest.
Okay. Alright. Well, I'll take the time to see the fight scene, and you said 7, right?
Oh, yeah.
You sure it's 7?
Because
if I watch 7,
no, it's on HBO Showtime now.
Okay. Alright.
Or a pay-per-view or whatever.
Yeah, I watched it last night actually.
Was it good?
Mm-hmm. I mean, some of the stuff they do, you're like, okay, that really wouldn't happen. Like,
motherfucker flew a fucking car from one building to the next.
And then when he did it again,
fuck out of here.
And honestly,
when we went to the second building, he did it twice.
That's the shit that turned me off because, like, I think after like the second or third one, I'm like, or whichever one was the Tokyo, I'm just like, I'm done with the cars. And I'm into cars, but
Tokyo can do that, but in 7, you're like, there's certain things happen. Number 7, like, okay, he's been dead, she's been dead. Like several times, you're like, oh, that's impossible that you survived it. Like, it's impossible. There's one point where Vin Diesel drives off, literally personally drives off the side of the mountain, and there's no way that you live from that. There's no way.
yeah, I mean,
And The Rock did something too where like, he's dead.
I don't like that. I don't like when it's just like that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's too much blood, or they would have died, or something like that. But at least for entertainment purposes.
For entertainment purposes and rocks. Later.
Right.
Come back.
Even though right after you bless, all of a
Got stopped
sudden-
immediately.
Yeah, everything is disgusting all of a sudden. It's like, get this away from me.
What am I doing?